my mustard to be as thick as the hot dog I'm eating.
Gross.
No, it's great.
I think we're going to go Hallowed Fountain into Basic Forest here. They named green with the Sprawl, so I'm not sure if this is Ponza. Ponza usually names red. Do you? Yeah. So your two options when you open a full set are to. Bots don't buy full sets usually, so what you have to do is either find a person willing to buy it or a website willing to buy it, or just open all the cards and sell them. That's usually what I do because it's fastest. Oh, they're doing this to stop the Ephemerate value, but I can just flash Ice-Fang in. So good for me. I did not expect my opponent to just double bolt my Wall of Omens there. Yes, you can. Oh, we still haven't hit a land. Jeez. So many cantrips. If only there was someone here to tell me to add a land to the deck. Yeah, so that's part of why Magic Online cards have so much value, is because if you get a full set, you can redeem them for a real set of paper cards. Or same thing for foils, too. I believe that's still a thing. Maybe I'm misinformed. I did not cut a land, no. Opponent really loves killing Wall of Omens, so we'll see if they exert onto it. I've never done it, no. You have to pay a fee, and then you have to pay for shipping. But it also takes forever to ship, and I'm a very impatient guy. Yeah. I've got no patience because I'm not a doctor, so be a real bad doctor with no patience. Alright, things get real easy if we just draw a path. Without a path, I think what we want to do is Teferi in plus, and then we can bounce the Glorybringer and counter it on the way down. Glad we're hitting our lands now. They stopped my Ice-Fang pretty rudely, I may add. Alright, I'm not going to go to 2, so I'll block. Alright, so Remand is going to be able to handle the Glorybringer. So we can go bounce Glorybringer, see what we draw. Now we're drawing so many lands. Fran, we should cut a land from the deck. I guess I want to exile the Ooze, that way Eternal Witness isn't out to deal with the Bone Crusher after we chump the Bone Crusher. It's a bit better to Cryptic bounce the Ooze, though. Remand, pretty good against the Glorybringer. Cool, we drew a Skyclave. We're pulling back. Yeah, although we do give them a 2/2 token. think I would like to get a basic planes into play. Skyclave Apparition, your Bone Crusher Giant. What is this, standard? So if they attack me with the Force of Negation, I actually feel like we can go to 3. In before top deck Spyro. Well, well, Remand actually beats Spyro because they only have three red sources. Now we could block and then play our second Teferi and minus on the token, or just you know, minus. Sorry, we'll use this Teferi to minus on the token, then play our second copy of Teferi and hold up Cryptic for the Glory Bringer. And then we get to Uro and escape Uro next turn. So game seems locked up. Close one for sure. What's my opinion on the Oopsal Spells deck? I think that it is a very powerful deck that does fold to Graveyard Hate, but doesn't fold to too many other things besides Graveyard Hate. Thanks, Spike. I've never wanted to play Counter Magic until watching this. Hell yeah. I mean, counterspells have finally gotten good in Modern after being bad for a long time. Okay, that's fine. I'll just bounce that with Teferi. Play and escape Uro. Mystigate does really help this deck's mana, but it is always a bit annoying to play with. Is my opponent conceding? Am I crashing? They knew what was up. They knew what was up. Okay. Fair enough, I guess. Obviously want Aether Gust. I think I like the idea of 3 or 4 path. Champion is okay against them. Venser's kind of nice to bounce like Blood Moon and Utopia Sprawled lands. Clothis. Not a big fan of Remand. I mean, the rest of our deck is pretty good. I think I'm going to cut the Cryptics. Bring in the second Venser and play the 4th path too. It's kind of be lean and mean. Cutting Cryptic also makes Blood Moon a lot worse against us. Yeah, the deck is also pretty cool to Archmage's Charm. It's just a very beatable deck that is good if you can kind of figure out how well positioned it is in a metagame. Probably gonna get a basic plains with this. I do like this hand. Let's play this and pass for now. You're not a leech if you're not subbing, Whoop. I'm just happy you're here. Maybe I was supposed to try to keep them off of a 4-drop here. Felt like a bit of a spew. Pathing Arborelf always feels bad, but I think here I'm going to go Gust their Chandra and their draw step and hope things don't get too bad after that. Teferi also stops Chandra from drawing cards, which is kind of nice. Is my reasoning for not playing Noble is that it's not great in the specific deck or not good in the format? A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. They did put the Chandra on top. I think I am going to prioritize getting my second, or my basic forest in play. Then I'll go Teferi, bounce Clothis. However you want to pronounce that card. Ooh, Ephemerate is really nice pickup. Assuming no Blood Moon. I think Delay plus Teferi is super duper cool, but you know, I've played against it. I have played a little bit with it, and just Delay is just not that good if you don't have Teferi. I certainly get it, but it's just again, it's just not that good without Teferi being in play, and you just can't guarantee that you'll have it. Yeah, I remember when Chandra could kill planeswalkers. I played a lot of Panza back then. We could bounce our own Teferi here. Teferi, this actually seems pretty good. This also like counters the Bonecrusher Giant. Venser has been great all day. I'm playing one main, one side. But I feel like I've been siding the second one in all day and really liking it. I think maybe this deck could just play two. Well, we're going to take a big old wallop, I guess. Down to 10. Not so bad. Not so good either, though. I guess I'm attacking them and using Aether Gust in their draw step and getting a second basic forest for Uro and Eternal Witness. Yeah, I think we Gust Chandra over Klothys. And you know, we can Ephemerate to bounce Klothys in a couple turns. We know their hand contains Gargaroth, but we don't know any of the other cards. Well, this should mean that they can't turn Klothys into a creature, at least. Maybe it was better to respond, actually, to the Klothys trigger. Yeah, it was better to respond to the Klothys trigger. Because they couldn't have plus Chandra before the trigger resolved. Kind of a cute interaction. So let me just start off by playing a Wall of Omens. Okay, Skyclave can deal with Klothys next turn. I think I don't want to shock, though, to play this wall. I'll just take one more trigger off Klothys, and then Venser bounce Elder Gargaroth in the beginning of combat step. Bounce the forest. The difference between what? I mean, we take less damage by gusting the Chandra. I don't think we need to prioritize bouncing this forest like super aggressively. So we get to bounce the Gargaroth, and they can't replay it this turn. They can, however, kill my Venser with Chandra if they want to, which is a bit scary. The difference between gusting Chandra in the draw step and in response to the trigger. The difference is they are not going to be able to... They just didn't activate Chandra. Yikes. The difference would be that they would not be able to exile the Aether Gust with Klothys. And then that way we could maybe Eternal Witness back the Aether Gust down the line. That's a great draw. Man, Skyclave exiling a 4-mana Planeswalker feels very, very good. Yeah, I missed it too until I realized that that's what we should have done. So certainly an interesting trick to have up your sleeve. Magus of the Moon. Does cut us off of double blue for a little bit, although we can just kind of Teferi bounce whenever. I suppose I'd rather just exile the Klothys with the Skyclave, and then maybe just bounce the token with Teferi here. Or we could bounce the token with Venser. I think I'm just going to draw a card. See what we draw before deciding what to do with Teferi. And we know they have Elder Gargaroth, which is actually kind of a pain. It's one of their last 2 cards. We're also dead to Glorybringer. All right, have a good day, sweetheart. Or we can soak up most of the trample with the Wall of Omens. Okay, never mind, I'll just path. Close game. We're definitely ahead right now. I'm going to leave back both Ice-Fangs. That way we're not dead to a top-decked Glorybringer. I feel like they should ping me. I feel like they should ping me and kill me with bolts. Wait, no way. They don't... Okay, I thought for a second they were going to Renin 6 plus... have their hand be Renin 6 plus bolt, which would be so good. I'm still going to leave back both Ice-Fangs for now. We can't escape this by Skyclaving the Blood Moon. Wow, we drew the 4th Skyclave. That's pretty good. But even just the gain 3. Opponent hits us with the GG. Oh, getting some concession lag, I think. It's a good match. We are 9-2 on the day, which feels great to, you know, unveil a new brew and have it go well. It's kind of my favorite thing to do in Magic. Okay, on the play. Bye, sweetheart. I'm going to keep this. Just every average day blue-white control hand, but with a Ephemerate in it. Opponent's playing a Yorion deck. There's a bunch of those floating around right now. Is this 80 card Soul Rider? Yeah, they didn't see a single Spyro that whole match. Is Scales a big part of the meta? Not really, no. Scales is not super popular, or even like really kind of popular. Yeah, I think that our opponent probably has the edge because they have Yorion, but we do have a pretty good hand here. I think our opponent's playing something very similar to us, but they're just playing Vile and Yorion. It's pretty cool. So they don't have a Noble Hierarch or a Giver. Dang it. So I think I'd rather not run face first into another Remand if I can't help it. I'm going to counter draw here. I'd love to find another white source and go Apparition plus Ephemerate and get both of those permanents. Opponent only has 3 cards in their hand. They got back Ice-Fang. We did draw the land. So I think I'm just going to go after their mana a bit here. and go Apparition their Vial, and then respond to the trigger and Ephemerate my Apparition. They have another 1-drop? Really? Another Hierarch, okay. So their hand is Ice-Fang, and then a mystery card, and their draw step for the turn. Okay, taking 3. They have another Vial. So what do we want to Ephemerate? I think I want to get the Hierarch. That way my Ice-Fang can trade for my Ice-Fangs can trade for whatever they have, even if I only play one Ice-Fang this turn. Yeah, so we go. I think I'll play a Teferi and bounce their token. Well, I guess our 2/2 blocks their token, so I'll bounce the Vial instead. And then we'll see how they attack. If we can afford to keep our Teferi around or not. They're sending everyone at me. It's kind of weird. I really don't get attacking with the illusion token at all. We'll see if like maybe they do something that makes this that explains this attack. Guess not. Are they trying to Ephemerate their Uro here? Because they can't. Okay. So I'm going to make sure to save Remand for Uro next turn. So, or this turn rather. So let me get back Ephemerate with Eternal Witness. Have Ephemerate plus Remand up. Gonna take, Teferi will take maybe 1 point, but that's just kind of fine. One of their cards is Vial, right? Yeah. I feel like they have certainly a grindier deck than we do, but we also just have the Skyclave advantage. Skyclave is great in this deck, and who knows if they're playing any numbers or. I mean, we're playing 60 cards and we have 4, so surely we have the advantage. I mean, they could, even if they had 4, we just have more access to Skyclave, which feels like maybe the most important card in the matchup. In fact, I may exile their Ice-Fang here. Kind of like that. Yeah, Teferi is nice in this matchup. Like, our opponent is playing some amount of counter spells, and Ephemerate, Cryptic Command, cast Ice-Fang. And it also subs the Ephemerate Rebound. Lots of good bounce targets. Is Eternal Witness plus Ephemerate a Splinter Twin? Yes, it is, with our working definition of Splinter Twin, which again is any 2 cards that in any way work well together. Maybe it was good to Cryptic this just to like try to grind my opponent's resources into dust. Probably, never mind. I think that would be a little too greedy. I mean, Glasspool Mimic kind of sucks, but I did think about playing a Glasspool Mimic or 2 in my deck. I mean, sorry, Glasspool Mimic is very good in their deck. It just isn't very good right now. But I think it's... Oh, I tapped wrong, so I can't also cast my Ice-Fang. But I think it's fine to just get this value here. Stop them, just 2 for 1, 2 for 1, 2 for 1. I do feel like I could Or maybe that I should deal with these vials to stop any surprises, but which, you know, especially with my Cryptic Command lock, stopping vial is a good thing. Mimic is only good in vial decks / spirits. Yeah, I think Mimic is mostly good with either vial or collected company. I think it makes both of those cards way better. But I agree it's not that great outside of like those interactions. They've put a Yorion into their hands. Alright, let's get some snakes in play. I'm tired of these. These motherfucking snakes in my motherfucking game. Sorry about the swearing. It must be the shark stressing me out, eating my head. You guys try having a shark eating your head for a whole stream and it, you know, and keep your cool the whole time. Guess we didn't need to attack with the Skyclaves. That's fine. They don't even get the rebound, so this is just a 1 mana draw 1. You read me pretty well there, Iceman. Read me pretty well there. I try not to swear too much on stream, but sometimes a joke is just way too good to pass up on. The sacrifices we make for comedy, am I right? So Talesyn is pretty nice against Yorion. Ollie, thank you for the host. Appreciate you, bud. Path kind of sucks in this matchup. I don't know. Path is kind of bad, right? Opponent is playing some amount of counter spells, and I imagine they have... Maybe they have like Deputy of Detention. Path is just bad in this matchup, right? I'm trying to think. It feels like maybe a necessary evil. Like I like Anthonice against the Mana Dorks. I'll play 2 paths, I think. I mean, Skyclave is just so much better though. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut the forces. Although force is pretty important for Teferi. And everything seems just kind of important. Yeah, maybe we just play no paths. Yeah, path is good in response to Ephemerate, so maybe we play 2 path, no Anthonice. I also think I want the second Venser, maybe over the 3rd Cryptic. No graveyard hate in the board? I don't think we need it. I think this deck is capable of beating Dredge without it. If you guys are going to come here looking for, like, I play it, here is my graveyard hate, here is my burn hate, here's my creature hate, here's my big mana hate. That's just not how I build my sideboards, you know? I tried to build a kind of generic sideboard like that for my like first few drafts of the deck, but you know, not every deck needs sweepers, not every deck needs graveyard hate, not every deck needs burn hate, you know. I agree that Wall of Omens is medium, but just having like the cantripper I think is pretty nice, and Wall does, you know, slow them down a lot, I think. I hope. Yeah, I try to come up with, you know, with plans rather than, you know, artifact, you know, just kind of more generic things. I think Wall of Omens is better than Wall of Blossoms because of specifically sort of Feast and Famine. Although there could be other things I'm not considering, right? Eladamri's Call for Uro. Alright, I'll keep playing. Is that a good joke? I think it is. My standard for what is or isn't a good joke is like, it's really fallen, but... I also think white mana is a little easier to get. Not that it's very close. Or not that it's not close. We're a pretty hard 3-color deck. I think I'm beating basic island here. And if they just spend their turn escaping Uro, I'll bounce it with Teferi. I did spend time thinking about Wall of Omens versus Wall of Blossoms, but I doubt that it matters very much. You got a deck list? You can always exclamation point deck creator to get whatever deck list I'm currently streaming with. No! Skyclave Apparition. It is really bad for us here. They don't have a land to play though. I think I'm just gonna hold up Venser. Our life total is not very high. Fair enough, I guess. Do they hit the land? They do. So do we. So I think I want to go Ice-Fang and Uro this turn, and in order to give myself the greatest chance of of playing a land off of Uro, I'm going to Ice-Fang first. Does that change anything? I don't think so. I think that if I do hit another untapped white source off of Uro, I'll just cast the Ephemerate, but we did not. And pass. They get to draw 2. It's gonna be an interesting game. Their deck is definitely similar to mine, but they're way more in on creatures than I am. We also have a Time Warp in our deck, and they don't definitely play one, which gives us like some degree of inevitability with the combo. Yeah, Mana Dorks also gives them an edge compared to my list. Missing lands is real bad, although our opponent is down to only 3 cards in their hands. Alright, do I want to hold up Ephemerate or try to find a land off of Ice-Fang? Don't think we need to hold up Ephemerate here, so I'll Ice-Fang. And we could, of course, hold up Ephemerate if we found one. They're going to Path, which I'm actually thrilled with, to get another land into play. I don't care if that comes at the cost of them getting a 3/3 illusion. And I guess it seems like they have done that to play around an Ephemerate of our own, which we did draw. And maybe we should cast one Ephemerate now. Nah. So it begins. Wait, no, opponent! Target your Ephemerate and not your Eladamri's Call, and then get your Eladamri's Call back, right? Right? I guess they are gonna get Soul Herder. Okay, this makes sense. Couldn't you have Ephemerated the Apparition so they don't get the token? I didn't have a land in play at the time. They cast it after I tapped my last land. And if we had done it before, then they would have pathed in response to the Ephemerate and fizzled my Ephemerate. Yeah, this is a Shark Hat. Let's draw 2. Or draw at least 1. Maybe Wall of Blossoms would be better. You tell me why it would be better, and I'll tell you if I agree. Okay. I think I am just gonna. We could flash in the Venser in response to this, but I think I'll just draw a card. So we have Force of Negation for their Ephemerate. You think Wall of Blossom is better because you want more green than white because of Uro? I think we want more white early because of Skyclave Apparition. And I also think white's a better color because of Sword of Feast and Famine. Not that that's super relevant. But I'd say that we want white early more so because of Skyclave, but that is a fine reason. That's a good point, Duck Walls. It's you want to double spell with Ephemerate a lot, and Wall of Blossoms cost green. It's very, very close, and it probably is worth talking about. What did they get back with Eternal Witness? I thought it was Ephemerate. I think I'll just counter whatever they get off of this. They got back Call, really? Weird. They're getting another Soul Herder. I think I'd like counterbalance just to tie up my opponent's mana a bit. So I think they're going to get back Path, then we can force the Path. Start snowballing a bit. Yeah, the mana requirements in this deck are brutal, dude. Interesting. I think we just pass. Yeah, really, I made a mistake by not putting the Bant Triome in the deck. Well, I guess... Oh yeah, why did they cast the Witness there? Targeting Ephemerate. But this is infinite turns. It's funny how close and how far away our decks are. Like they're choosing to play Mana Dorks, Vials, Eladamri's Calls, and Yorion. It's kind of just interesting. Wait, why respond? Oh, to Exile Uro, whatever. Yeah, it's fine. This should be game over. And then I'll go ahead and bounce the Soul Herder. Not that it matters very much. We even have a Veil of Summer for a potential Force of Negation. So for those of you who don't know, what we're going to do is we're going to Ephemerate the Eternal Witness, get back Time Warp, and then when the Ephemerate rebounds, we get to flicker the Witness, get back Ephemerate, then get back Warp, and take infinite turns. Cool. We're 10-2 on the day. Feels really good. Because this is a deck I've been working a lot on for the last few weeks, just trying to hammer out a list that I like, and I finally was able to put one together. I'm going to keep this. I usually like to put back Force of Negation when I mulligan, and I think I will do that here as well. Gemstone Cavern, exiling a Braid. Okay. So that's what we're doing today, opponent. Do you think this deck rivals the Flagfire? Maybe. It's way too early to tell, I think. Turn 1 Blood Moon. Well, at least we got to be on the play. Yeah, of course I put back the Force of Negation. We have, I think, 7 basic lands in the deck. I'm not sure if we're supposed to force this. We do have, like, you know, Ephemerate is a pretty important card in the deck. And it's one of the few spells we could cast in this spot. But it's like, this idiot, why didn't they force my Blood Moon? I think I'd rather force with Time Warp than Uro. Like, we need to, you know, we need a color, 2 of a color we don't have either way, but I don't think, like, taking infinite turns is going to come up this game. I mean, we have 4 Skyclave Apparition in the deck, so I don't think we need Knight of Autumn so much. We're not playing any tutors, where Skyclave Apparition usually shines a bit more. Was there a particular change to the deck that made me like it, or it was more of a gradual tuning process? But what made me like feel happy about it today was I finally figured out that I should be playing Mystic Gate. I like to play a deck that's consistently strong and doesn't fluctuate too much. I think the Jeskai deck fits that category. The Jeskai Flagfire control deck I've been playing. Opponent's like, this idiot didn't counter Blood Moon, but had Force of Negation. They have another Chalice. We've got some Aether Gust for the sideboard of this matchup. Venser. Oh no, we can't excuse me, we can't path through the Chalice. That'll probably do it. Yeah, let's go to game 2. I don't think we can draw out of the Goblin Rabble Master fast enough. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the Venser, the Aether Gusts. Champion's kind of interesting. Don't think it's very good. Do I want Tails End to counter their Planeswalkers? Probably not. We've got like Skyclaves and Forces for Planeswalkers. Can maybe cut the Time Warp and still play 2 walls. I think we'll be fine as long as they don't turn 1 Blood Moon again. Yeah, I'll keep this. I think. Maybe this hand is nonsense. The turn 3 will be kind of cool. My opponent's mulled to 5. I think I like keeping this hand against the mulled to 5. Mount and go. Cool. Maze Mind Tome. Kind of feels like a weird prison card, but I mean, every card in prison seems a bit strange. Let me actually just wait on the Uro, since next turn, if we can find a land, we can Uro with Gust or Remand up. I hate Eidolon in these decks. It's just so bad with I genuinely think Eidolon is terrible in Prison. I really don't understand playing it. I think it's I personally think it's a big nombo with a lot of your spells. I've never really understood it. Like, you're trying to make the game go, you know, real long, and then you end up just having an Eidolon which kills you a decent amount of the time. I think that we don't need to hold up anything here, so I'm just gonna go ham with these Ephemerate. Yeah, that's always been my biggest criticism of these decks, is that Eidolon is just like, you get super punished for the symmetrical nature of Eidolon, and I think it's like a fine sideboard card against like combo decks, and that's about it. This is fine, right? We just have Aether Gust. I think I'll even Ice-Fang without too much worry. Maybe a little bit of worry. We're at 28, not too worried about this card. Should be able to Gust the Blood Moon next turn, escape Uro, and force the Blood Moon on the way down. We'd also, I thought we had double Skyclave for some reason. Maybe I should Time Warp. Time Warp seems probably correct here. Get a little ahead on mana. Yeah, just the fact that being able to Mystic Gate into Uro has been so good. Mystic Gate Plains into Uro. Play Temple Garden first means you don't shock. Yeah. But we didn't shock anyways. Opponent did mold a 5 this game. Kind of surprised they're still playing, to be honest. Probably don't want to bounce the tome. Yeah, but how do we beat an Eidolon? Good question. 104.38, my friend. Oh, we tapped in a way that we can't Ice-Fang, but it doesn't matter. Opponent has given up, and we're going to game 3. Game 3, the card I, of course, would most like to see in my hand is going to be a Force of Negation. Or maybe Basic Island plus Aether Gust could be good, too. Oh, we have a Force and a Gust. This hand's great. Yeah, I think if they just like go Ritual Blood Moon, the fact that we get to Gust it and not use our Force is pretty nice. Resolves. Let's get Basic Island now. We have a lot of answers to Chalice in our deck. We also don't have any 1-drops in our hand right now. Okay, I'm going to get a Prairie stream here, play the Fun Raveler, and plus. Is Force the best card in Modern? It would be, but Shark Typhoon is in Modern. hard to compete with Shark Typhoon. Yeah, I agree that Chalice on 1 isn't that good versus me. Okay, I'll bite. It's fine. I would like to hit a land, and so I can go Uro plus hold up Gust. I guess I'm still going for it. If they do Blood Moon, we have Gust that can just be cast. So this probably means like, yeah, we just have to Gust the Blood Moon here. Have I ever end of turn Time Warp with Teferi? I haven't. It seems kind of weird for that to ever be correct. Although it actually almost came up earlier because our opponent could have Ranger Captained on our turn to stop us from casting Time Warp on our turn. But it didn't quite end up shaping up that way. I think I am going to cast Time Warp because if this Blood Moon comes down, we may not be able to cast it again. And I would like to maybe witness back something here. Okay, and I guess this also just lets us Teferi bounce Blood Moon next turn. Yeah, it did almost come up. I forgot that almost happened today. It would have been really cool. Yeah, I think I do want to get this Chalice or this Blood Moon gone for good. I'm gonna Ice-Fang. Ended up working out. Is Rebel Master a player in Modern or is this a rogue deck? It is pretty common for these mono red prison decks to play Goblin Rebel Master. How good it is maybe up for debate. It's not very common to see it outside of decks like this either. We can try to set up for infinite turns. Oh no, this gets countered by the Chalice. Never mind. Oh, I guess we could still try to set up for it. Alright, so let me get a forest. Oh, whoops. Alright, they are dead if we find a land off of Uro. Because we just take infinite turns, which should be good enough. Yeah, I haven't changed any settings, so I don't know why it would or wouldn't be echoey, but thank you for the feedback. Oh, I didn't mean to tap the forest. Okay, they just conceded. Okay, so we advanced to 3-0 in this league. That puts us to 11-2 on the day. I would love to 5-0 with this deck. You know, it's always a good feeling when you get a trophy with your new brew. But regardless, I think this deck is performing really well today. Really well. I'm liking it. I'm gonna keep this hand. Dryad Militant, huh? Does something against the Ephemerate Eternal Witness plan, I guess. Gonna play this so we can fetch before Lead and Arbiter comes down, of course. I remember back in RTR Innistrad Standard, I played a ton of green-white decks, and I remember trying to figure out a way to beat up on my friend Dalton's control deck. And I saw Dryad Militant, and I like, this stops. Think Twice, and this... Whoa! This stops Think Twice and Snapcaster Mage. This card's just great. Well, our opponent's playing White Weenie. We are Yeah, we're 3-0. Wasn't expecting to play against White Weenie. This is certainly cool. Wall of Omens is nice. They're going to get to flip Legion's Landing. Pretty exciting. Yeah, we're just kind of dead. I mean, this matchup is probably good. Yeah, Dryad Militant with Civic Saber. Did win a PT. Right? Or at least did well in one. Oh my goodness. Wow, we're just kind of dead. Stinks. I mean, we're only taking 5 here. Maybe they don't have a strong follow-up, but... Take 5 down to 7, then we play another wall, take 5 down to 2. And then what's our out at that point? Are we lagging here? What's going on? Oh, a Loxodon. Okay, I'll just go ahead and pack it up. Let's go to game 2. Well, that was pretty good. The removal spells don't even seem all that good against our opponent's deck. But neither do these forces and remands. I guess remand's a bit better on the play. Yeah, remand seems okay on the play. I'll play probably just the first copy though. Yeah, I've been excited to unveil this hat, so I'm probably just gonna leave it on the rest of the stream. I mean, Ariok Champion seems okay, but I may be more interested in it on the draw. I don't know that Ariok Champion is exactly what we're looking for. So I think we're gonna go Hallowed Fountain, and either an island or a forest off of this. Double Skyclave is, really good in a matchup like this. Judge is familiar. Oh my gosh. Opponent's deck is very cool. No one can deny that. I guess we do play the Vista here to play around and lean in Arbiter. Although we do have Skyclave for Arbiter, so maybe this is wrong. Waiting to see if we want to get Island or Forest. A 2-time PT winning Judge is familiar. There's a second one. Get Island here. Right, immediately punished. It's fine. I want them to play Civic Saber so badly. Me too. Oh, I keep the new sub noises keep freaking me out. I'm not used to them. T-Paz, 10 months in a row. Welcome back. Thank you for resubbing. Sorry if I jolted when it happened. Alright, so I think we can keep them off of 3 creatures here without too much difficulty. And just kind of ignore Legion's Landing. Legion's Landing is a card that I basically have never liked very much. Just the card looks very unimpressive when you're behind, when you draw it in multiples, when you just can't attack, which feels like a lot. Alright, so I'm going to Path the Crusader, save 1 point of life. I'm assuming they're going to sack Judge Familiar. Maybe it's just maybe that one doesn't freak me out as much. Maybe it's just the, hey, what's up? That one. Maybe I'll turn that one off. Yeah, I figured that they were going to want to do this, and then we get to Ephemerate the Crusader. Cool. Can also Venser. So, like anything this turn, but maybe more specifically the vampire token. Or the illusion token. Illusion spike. Illusions. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've played a Legend of Zelda game. My friend Dalton has offered to loan me not Skyward Sword, the one from the Switch that I still haven't played. The only Switch Zelda game. I do intend to play it soonish. But I've still been having a lot of fun with Hades. Yeah, Breath of the Wild. I've played the Wind Waker, and I've played... Ooh, okay. I've played Wind Waker, I've played Twilight Princess, and I've played Skyward Sword. Those are the only Zelda games I've ever played. Link's Awakening. I've never played Link's Awakening either. I've heard very mixed things about Breath of the Wild. Some people seem to really like it, and some people seem to really dislike it. But I want to try it out for myself. I think I'm just bouncing a token. And I guess we probably path the Kythian to stop the flip. Although, how good is the flip? Not that good. We could Ice-Fang to trade for Loxodon instead. We probably can't Ice-Fang next turn. Okay, I'm gonna path to ensure that we can escape Uro, because now if we wait to path, the path may not go to the graveyard. I think I'm trading Skyclave for illusion token. Let's give them a 3/3 illusion. Yeah, I really do think Mystic Grade is great because it lets you escape Uro off of basic planes. It's been very relevant. It is pretty obnoxious to click through the... Why am I afraid of Kythian? I kill it, and yeah, I mean, yeah, they can just activate it. It has an indestructible thing. So Uro's going to block pretty well. We have a healthy life total. We have a Remand, which is probably not going to do much more than cycle here, assuming they have a spell. How scary is Chef at Dunes? Not that scary. Yeah, I'd say it's not super common for mana bases to want to play the filter lands, but it's nice when they're good. It's always nice to like find a reason to play an underutilized card. One of my favorite things about Magic. Could Ratchet Bomb slot in here to clean up tokens? That is a great question because that kind of philosophy is it's very much the opposite of how I approach things, you know? Like, we could probably play 100 matches of Modern and not play against my opponent's deck again. But yes, Ratchet Bomb would be good against a deck like my opponent's. So I am my philosophy very much usually has me not wanting to play sideboard cards for matchups that I'm not going to play against very often. But I know some people do like to build sideboards and just have generally their base covered, but that's not how I like to build them. I mean, I don't think that there's really enough tokens to want Ratchet Bomb. Ratchet Bomb does have it going on, of course, but I think I'm just not feeling it. Put on a rules question about Ephemerate and Dryad Militant. I don't think we excuse me, sorry. I don't think we have faced a Primeval Titan deck today. Probably not a very good matchup. My allergies have been messing with me today. I'm like all congested. The weather keeps changing constantly. There's also a shark in my head, which is not helped at all. Been very painful. Right, on the draw, currently 3-0 in this league. I would love to 5-0 this league. We lost playing for 5-0 once already today. Matt, if you're only able to get 1080p resolution, it's possible that's because you're using an ad blocker. I think that Twitch is, taking measures like that to prevent ad blockers from being effective. Our opponent is a lean and arbiter deck, so I'll try to play around it here. And if you want to avoid ads, there is a way you can do that by subscribing. Yeah, Ephemerate makes 2 sharks. Ephemerating a shark token isn't so good, though. Alright. Opponent's had a pretty good start again. Your opponent is playing 2019 Standard. And it's looking very good. Love to rattle off a few lands here. That is a land. It doesn't really matter which Dauntless Bodyguard we block. I guess we do this one. Maybe they like brain fart and sack, but no reason for them to do that, of course. Scared of this Ghost Quarter. Please no lead in Arbiter. Okay. Oh, are they going to search up Civic Saber? That would be so cool. They get Sword of Light and Shadow, which is kind of a surprise. Kind of a surprise. And a Batter Skull. So let's go Uro. I would like to see another untapped white source on top. That way we can ephemerate our Uro. But if not, I think we just need to path off of Temple Garden, I suppose. And then that'll be 4 cards in our graveyard. And we'll just be 1 away from escaping Uro, which seems pretty important. Yeah, Civic Saber is surely their 3rd equipment. Light and Shadow is really weird to see. Did I change my lights? I don't know what it is, but like, look at this. I'll take the shark off. All of a sudden the lights look normal. I don't know why it's having like such an effect on the lights. And they're playing around path. Maybe I was supposed to path the Dauntless Bodyguard. Their hand is now Batter Skull and Sword. I think I am just gonna get a tapped Temple Garden here instead of pathing anything. Fetch land would be good. I think that we are going to be casting a few copies of Cryptic Command here. Fran, thank you for the raid. I did see you say in chat that you're going to do a shorter stream today. Fran, what do you think is wrong with my deck construction here? Do you have any suggestions? Yeah, you got here right on time, right on time. They drew a land for turn. Shouldn't I Venser first? Should I Venser first? I think Venser is like only good if they equip onto the Germ token, which they would never do here. Like we have 3 cryptics, we maybe get to a point where we can go cryptic tap, or maybe like we can go Venser plus Ephemerate next turn if we draw a land. We didn't draw a land. So frustrating. If only there was someone here to tell me to put a land into my deck. But sadly, there's no one in here to do that. We could Eternal Witness and then get back a land and Onthanize and Path. It's probably good. Yeah, it's really just every time Fran shows up, the lands leave. And we'll of course Onthanize the Germ token because they have that Ghost Quarter. Is Eternal Witness feeling the same role as Mystic Sanctuary in this deck? No. I know it's not a good answer, but this deck's mana requirements are tough. This deck has really tough mana. Mystic Sanctuary is not a card I'd love to play in decks with bad mana. I know that doesn't stop other people, but this deck's mana is real bad. So Mystic Sanctuary would make it even worse. And I think Mystic Gate is something I really like because it lets you filter basic planes into Uro mana. I mean, like, yes, Eternal Witness loops Time Warp, but it's just so hard to compare a creature to a land. Even one like Mystic Sanctuary, which has, you know, largely the functionality of a land. They just do end up playing out very differently. Maybe it's better to block and Ephemerate the Witness than to Path. Oh, it's also better to Path, huh? Because we can't. Or better to Ephemerate because we can't Path. Am I dead to Chef it? I don't think so. If I was, my opponent missed it too. Because you can only do this as a sorcery. They evidently care about their Battle Skull token. They could have easily saved it. They could have saved their Battle Skull token? I mean, are you saying if they equipped the sort of Fire and Ice over to their Battle Skull, they would have saved it? Because I don't feel like they had the luxury of doing that personally. Because if they equip their Battle Skull with the Sword of Light and Shadow, they just play right into the path that I had. Yeah, we have Uro and Skyclave in the same deck. It's just, man, it's real tough. Hard to play Mystic Sanctuary too. Eternal Witness is also, you know, not easy to cast. Yeah, I think I want to... Either way, the trigger... the spell itself. I'm very confused. Please tell me how our opponent could have stopped Onthanize from exiling the token. I'm confused. I don't see it. They destroy the land you target with Onthanize. I see, yes. Oh, I missed your They Have Ghost Quarter message. Yeah, you're right. I missed it too. Yeah, so we should be able to get Uro plus Cryptic Command going. I suppose the Judge's Familiar actually makes that a bit mana intensive, so maybe I'll just go counter tap. Yeah. Seems a bit better. Yeah, next turn I guess we don't exactly have the land, huh? But if we Ephemerate back Eternal Witness to get a land, we can go Uro plus escape Uro plus hold up Cryptic Tap. That's probably worth it. I know we lose the Eternal Witness Ephemerate train, but we can keep it going by bouncing the Witness with Teferi if we want to. Has not been an easy game, but I think we have wormed our way out of a really bad spot. Oh, I should have played Heath because I'm getting Forest here. We can get a Prairie stream off of this. Yeah, Astrolabe would be nice. That's for sure. I do have another island. Actually, I actually have 2 more islands in my deck. I guess I'll just play around Aven Mind Sensor. Yeah, why am I not playing Arkham's Astrolabe in this deck? It's kind of a punt. Maybe I'm supposed to tap Bounce Witness. Probably not. We can just like Cryptic next turn and then also play Teferi to Bounce Witness the following turn. Really tough game. Really tough game. But we are 4-0 in this league, and we are 12-2 on the day, which I'm very proud of. This is a brand new brew, something I've been working on for a while. Feels great to find success with it. But can we get a trophy? Can we get a trophy? Keep. Okay, we've played against Ponza once or twice today. We won both times, but they named white, so this is actually the Heliod combo deck, which we've also played against once today. And I think we've already beaten today. Not that our hand necessarily lines up really well, but Skyclave Apparition specifically is a card that really shines in this matchup. Could also maybe bounce their Forest with Cryptic Command. A little bit harder to do on the draw. Could be a different deck too, but don't really think so. Man, Pendlehaven and Walking Ballista, and I'll talk about a Splinter Twin. It's a long story, Shadow. It's not suffocating, it's a parasitic relationship. Oh man. I guess we just need to remand their Coco. If they just put a counter on Ballista, I think that that's okay. Yes, perfect. That's the exact card I wanted to draw. Skyclave Apparition. Hope my opponent hits 2 Walking Ballista here. Okay, we can't beat Infinite Life. Dang it. Feels bad, but we still have games 2 and 3. So I think I played 2 Force of Negation last time. I can't remember how I sideboarded. I like the Teferis. I like the Cryptics, but I think that maybe this is too many 4-drops. Maybe cut the Time Warp, but they don't have that much interaction for it. I do like Remand on the play. Maybe we can cut a Wall of Omens. Maybe we can play like 3-path, 2 Anthonice. 1 Force? Sure. We can beat Infinite Life with infinite turns. I mean, you can beat Magic Online Infinite Life with infinite turns, but we can't deal infinite damage. But I prefer to just, you know, if this was a game of paper Magic, I could not beat Infinite Life. I'm just going to go to the next game. I kind of like the Heart and Scales decks that play Luris the most. This hand's kind of loose, but I think it's good enough to keep. I'm gonna play Wall over Ice-Fang here to maybe, you know, have a surprise Death Toucher down the line. Gonna pass it back. There's the very whelming and very good in this deck Conclave Mentor. I do think Conclave Mentor is not very good. I know this is like a complete 180, but I think this should be something else. I don't know what else, but I just have never been impressed by Conclave Mentor in the games I've played against my opponent's deck. And maybe it's just like not good against the decks I tend to play, but okay. I think I'm gonna Skyclave and hold up Path and exile the Heliod. It's not super mana efficient, but seems fine. It is kind of bad, I guess, if they have like Ballista. I feel like it should just be Luminarch Aspirant, or like a lot of the lists play 4 Mentor, 3 Aryok Champion, and I could see instead playing 4 Champion, like 3 Luminarch Aspirant or 4 Aspirant, but the card like only makes Ballista. It makes Ballista and Spike Feeder better, and it doesn't make Spike Feeder very much better. I think Voice of Resurgence is maybe better too. Of course, I say this as a blue player, that Voice would be better, but I think Voice is really good in a deck like this. Eladamri's Call for another Conclave Mentor, I hope. A Heliod. I play an Ooze. With Remand in my hand, I don't want to Path the Giver now, but we can Path the Giver in a couple turns. Drawing a few more lands that maybe I'm comfortable with. Opponent may attack, and then I can path. They may attack with both creatures, and then I can Path the Giver of Runes, and then block whichever creature they don't give protection to. Okay, so they have Coco. We did keep a land-heavy hand, but of course Fran is nowhere to be found. Did I consider playing Renegade Rallier in this deck? Not seriously. This deck is very heavy on 3 drops already, so I don't think we have room. I'm gonna hold the Ephemerate, I think, because we can flicker Apparition for, you know, a removal spell basically. One's hand is Heliod, Collected Company, Mystery card. Mentor makes Spike Feeder Heliod a win con if they have more attackers than blockers. That's fair. Maybe I'm just totally wrong. I could be totally wrong about Conclave Mentor. Just in my experience, I just haven't been impressed by it. Yeah, I agree with you, Simon. That's something good to bring out. With the nature of this deck that plays a lot of cards that just say draw a card without selection, we are more prone to getting flooded or screwed than decks that play more selection. Certainly something good to talk about. Heliod, they already have a Heliod in their hand. So we'll let this trigger happen, and then we need to Path, though, before they get to untap. I think we're just dead. Yeah, we're just dead because they get to make a 1/1 Ballista, which is 2/2 because of Conclave Mentor, and then they have double activation for our removal spell. So I guess actually that's not true, because what we can do is we can just kill the Heliod in response to the Ballista. So not dead, but also not in good shape. Two Heliods down is good though. We know they have another one in their hand, I think. Yeah, we do know they have another one in their hand, so. No, I don't want to upkeep Heliod. I want to do it in response. I'm gonna make a play here. I'm gonna F6 through the casting. Oh, never mind. Okay, so I was gonna F6 through the casting of Walking Ballista and hope that my opponent doesn't have an untapped land, and they targeted the Ballista and we got to exile it instead. I'm going to make this play. Exile the Heliod. Our opponent has another Heliod in hand, but they can't kill us with it this turn. And we do have some series of draws that gets us out of this, I think. The Ballista being a 3/3 is a big problem, of course. Since now we can't Ephemerate the Skyclave and kill the Ballista, so we'll have to Ephemerate Wall of Omens, looking for another removal spell. Yeah, I think my opponent forgot about Conclave Mentor, which makes sense because as I've been so boldly claiming, the card never does anything. Yeah, so we need to target the wall and draw some good cards. These are cards. Are they good? That's the question. I think we need to bounce the Heliod, right? Bounce Heliod. Then we need to draw something else too, but bouncing Ballista is not good because they just kill the Teferi. We don't even get to. I guess we do get to draw. Huh. It's kind of a pretty weird series of draws we found here. Yeah, so if they kill the Teferi in response, we still get to draw a card at least. This is actually, I think, kind of fine. Yeah, but we can't bounce the Skyclave Apparition because they killed that in response. But this, they put probably they ping this to let the Ballista go back to their hand. Oh, they're gonna kill my Skyclave and my Ice-Fang. They also get this puts counters on the ooze too. Puts a lot of power in play for them, but no, if we can draw an Uro, can maybe get out of this. Ice-Fang is a card. Oh, they didn't kill my Ice-Fang? Right. They needed to have the Ballista go back to their hand. So their hand is Heliod plus Ballista. I think we remand the Heliod because their Ballista only has to be X equals 1. So we Heliod, we remand it, Heliod, and then they should not be able to kill us even if they have an untapped land. So staying alive. Need to keep drawing spells though off of these cantrips, and that being a land is just hugely devastating. We have outs still, but I think a key piece of this a key piece of the puzzle here was like just drawing lands for a while. They do have a kind of interesting problem here where they can either choose to play around a removal spell on my end or a counter spell. Yeah, we played against red-green scales earlier. They actually popped into chat and we asked them what the red splash was for, but I can't remember. They go for Coco into Spike Feeder Arbor Elf. This is acceptable, I think. Their attacks are okay here. Oh, don't like that attack. Don't like this attack, opponent. Don't like this attack. Stop it. I have Uro and Eternal Witness in my deck. I guess Uro's not really a thing here. The Fleeing, that's also a land. That actually does seem good. Kind of. That's a spell. Okay. We killed their ooze. Now we technically have double path up. Thanks, Ty. We can also remand if we want to. Remand plus path. Is that better? No, remand's not that good because of the... Yeah, so if they 1/1 Ballista, we can path the Conclave Mentor. Oh no, they have this. They have a Spike Feeder. But they're going for a 2/2 Ballista anyways. Path breaks up the Heliod Ballista combo if you respond to the lifelink, yeah. Yeah, I think this is game over. Well, we can wait. We can Path Feeder and Conclave Mentor, right? But then they lifelink an illusion token, and I had to Path Feeder in response. Well, I still can. In response to Heliod. Oh, right, they have infinite life. I totally forgot about that. Okay. Stinks. Oh, they also have infinite power with the Mentor. Okay. Punt. I think we're still dead, but we stayed alive as long as we could. Tough stuff, tough break.